The Galactic Empire was the most powerful force in the known galaxy. For hundreds of years, it had ruled star systems without any serious challenge. The Imperial fleets were vast, with thousands of ships armed with heavy weapons and strong shields. Traders moved freely between planets, knowing the Empire's patrols kept space safe for them. Every corner of the Empire believed there was no enemy strong enough to stand against them. On a quiet day in a remote sector, a small Imperial patrol ship drifted through open space near the edge of the Caldro system. The crew was relaxed. This part of space was considered peaceful. There were no pirates, no rebels, and no strange alien threats. Most days the patrol was routine, scanning for illegal cargo, helping merchant ships, and occasionally escorting a damaged freighter back to a station. But then the sensors began to pick up something unusual. At first, it was just a faint signal, like a whisper against the background of deep space. The crew thought it was nothing important, maybe just interference from a nearby star. Yet the signal did not fade. Instead, it grew stronger with every passing second. The patrol captain, a man named Rin, leaned forward in his command chair. "Run a deep scan," he ordered. The ship's sensor officer tapped quickly on his console. His eyes widened as the readings changed. "Captain, this is strange. The signal is not from any ship in our database. It is too strong, too steady, and it's coming from directly ahead of us. Something big is there." Captain Rin frowned. "There is nothing on the chart in that direction. Keep scanning." Moments later, the energy reading spiked so sharply that alarms began to sound on the bridge. The crew scrambled to check their systems. Outside the viewport, the stars began to warp and bend, as if space itself was being pulled apart. A bright flash tore through the darkness, and suddenly a massive shape emerged from the distortion. It was a warship unlike anything the Empire had ever built. Its hull was dark and angular, covered in glowing lines that pulsed like veins of light. Strange markings ran along its sides, written in a language the Imperial systems could not translate. The ship was huge, larger than the Empire's dreadnought class. Its surface bristled with turrets and weapons arrays. A strange, shimmering field surrounded it, like a shield made of rippling glass. The patrol crew stared in shock. This was no damaged freighter, no hidden pirate base, no drifting relic from the past. This was something entirely new. "Try to hail them," Rin said, his voice tight. The communication officer sent out a standard Imperial greeting. No reply came. They tried again on multiple frequencies, but the strange ship remained silent. Then the patrol's communication systems began to flicker. Screens glitched. Audio channels filled with static. Even their long-range sensors began to fail. "They're jamming us," the sensor officer reported. Rin gripped the arm of his chair. "They know we're here, and they're not talking. This is not good." As the crew worked, the Imperial database began running a search. When the results came back, the screen displayed only a few scattered records. Old reports from centuries ago about a species called humans. According to those records, humans were primitive, living on a single small planet, far from Imperial borders. The files suggested they had no space fleets, no colonies, and no advanced technology. Yet here was a human warship that looked like it could destroy an entire Imperial task force. The patrol ship kept its distance, scanning every detail of the mysterious craft. Suddenly, a small probe launched from the Imperial vessel. It was meant to get closer, to gather clearer data on the newcomer's shield and weapons. The probe moved forward slowly, transmitting its readings back to the patrol ship. Then, in a Flash of light. The probe was gone. A single narrow beam from the human warship had cut through it instantly. The destruction was clean, precise, and without any warning. The bridge fell silent. No one moved for several seconds. They didn't. "Even miss," one of the crew whispered. Rin's face was pale. "This is no lost relic. That thing is active, and it knows exactly what it's doing." He turned to his communications officer. "Send an urgent message to Imperial Command. Tell them we've encountered a hostile vessel of unknown origin. Tell them it may be human." The officer worked quickly, using emergency priority channels to push the message through the jamming field. The signal barely made it out before the interference closed again. The strange ship did not move toward them. It simply drifted in space, silent and watchful. Its weapons were ready, but it made no aggressive move beyond destroying the probe. It was as if it was testing the Empire, seeing how they would react. Minutes felt like hours as the patrol ship remained at a safe distance. The crew kept waiting for the warship to jump away or attack, but it did neither. It just stayed there, motionless in the cold void. When reinforcements finally arrived, 2 larger Imperial cruisers, the human ship did something unexpected. Without firing another shot, it turned slowly, a ripple passing across its strange shield, and then it vanished. Space seemed to fold around it, and it was gone. The cruisers tried to track it, but their sensors found nothing. The rift that had brought it here had closed as if it had never been. Rin knew this was not the end. He had seen the power in that ship, and he knew the Empire was not ready for it. The message had been sent, and soon the entire Imperial fleet would know about the human warship that had emerged from nowhere. But deep inside, Rin felt something more than duty or fear. He felt curiosity. Who were these humans, and how had they built such a ship without the Empire knowing? And if they could appear anywhere without warning, what else might they be hiding? In the cold darkness of space, the quiet patrol sector no longer felt safe. Something had changed forever. The balance of power the Empire had enjoyed for centuries was about to be tested by a force no one had seen coming. And somewhere out there, beyond the reach of Imperial maps, the humans were watching. The news of the strange warship reached Imperial Command within hours. The patrol captain's report was read and reread by senior officers. Many did not believe it at first. A human ship? That was impossible. Humans were considered a primitive species, barely capable of building ships that could reach their own moon. The records from past centuries said they had no colonies, no fleets, and no real presence in the galaxy. But the recorded scans from Captain Rin's patrol ship told a different story. The energy readings were unlike anything in the Empire's database. The shield frequency was unknown. The weapons output was far beyond the Empire's best battleships. Even the hull design showed strange patterns of energy flow that no Imperial engineer could explain. High Admiral Torvin called an emergency meeting in the central war room of the Imperial Fleet headquarters. Around a wide circular table sat fleet commanders, scientists, intelligence officers, and strategists. A large projection of the human warship hovered in the air above the table. Its dark shape rotated slowly, showing every detail gathered by the patrol ship before the jamming began. Torvin spoke with a deep, steady voice. "We have confirmed that the unidentified vessel destroyed our probe with a single precision shot. It ignored our hails. It used a method of arrival that suggests some form of advanced spatial rift travel. This technology is not known to us. We have no record of it being used by any other species. One of the scientists, Dr. Vell, leaned forward. The hull composition is also unusual. It reflects certain scans but absorbs others. This makes it difficult to determine internal structure or crew size. We cannot even tell if it is using a standard reactor or some new type of energy. Core, another commander, tapped the table. We must assume it is hostile. The destruction of the probe was an attack. It was a warning, yes, but it was still an attack on an Imperial asset. Torvin nodded slowly. We will treat it as a potential threat. The Emperor will be informed directly, but before we make any public statement, I want more data. I will dispatch a fleet to track it. Orders spread quickly across the Empire's network. Within hours, a battle group of 12 warships, cruisers and destroyers, was assembled under the command of Fleet Captain Dorn. His orders were simple. Locate the human ship, test its defenses, and if possible, force it to surrender. The fleet moved out to the Kaldros sector, where the patrol ship had first made contact. Captain Dorn was confident. His fleet was armed with plasma cannons, torpedo launchers, and heavy railguns. He had fought pirates, rebels, and even a rogue alien. Fleet years ago, nothing had ever truly challenged him. For 2 days, the fleet searched the empty reaches of space. They scanned asteroid belts, gas giants, and deep, cold voids. The human ship was nowhere to be found. Just as Dorn began to think it had fled entirely, the sensors of the lead cruiser picked up a faint ripple ahead. Space twisted just as Captain Ryn had described, and the massive human warship appeared. It drifted slowly, as if it had been waiting for them. Dorn opened a secure channel. Unknown vessel, this is Fleet Captain Dorn of the Galactic Empire. You are entering controlled space. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Reply came almost at once, but it was in a strange, broken translation. A female voice spoke, clear and cold. This territory is not yours. Leave now. You will not receive another warning. The translation systems struggled to match the words. Some of the message came through slightly distorted, but the meaning was clear. Dorn's lips curved in a small smile. Fire a warning shot, he ordered. One of the cruisers fired a single plasma round, aimed to pass just ahead of the human ship. The round never reached its target. A burst of blinding light erupted from the warship's side, striking the plasma. Shot and dispersing it instantly. Full attack formation, Dorn commanded. The Imperial fleet opened fire with all weapons. Dozens of energy bolts, torpedoes, and high-velocity rounds streaked toward the human ship. Yet the strange shield flared with ripples of light, absorbing the hits with ease. The warship did not move to evade. It simply endured the attack until the barrage slowed. Then it struck back. From the warship's main forward guns came a storm of energy beams so precise and fast that the nearest cruiser exploded within seconds. Its shields had not even been fully drained before the hull was torn apart. Another Imperial ship tried to flank the human vessel, but a concentrated burst from its side turrets sliced through its engines. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. 4 Imperial ships were destroyed. 2 more were heavily damaged. The remaining 6 retreated under Dorn's orders, their crews shaken by the speed and power of the enemy's weapons. The human warship did not chase them. Instead, it held position for a short moment, as if watching them flee, before opening another rift in space and disappearing without a trace. Back aboard his flagship, Captain Dorn recorded his report. His voice was hard, but there was an edge of unease. The unidentified human vessel is capable of engaging and defeating a full Imperial battle group with minimal effort. Its shield system is far superior to ours. Its weapons are both faster and more accurate. Recommend immediate escalation of defenses and research into countermeasures. This ship is a major threat to Imperial security. When this report reached Imperial Command, the reaction was one of alarm. The Emperor himself demanded a briefing. In the Grand Throne Room, High Admiral Torvin explained the situation while the projection of the human ship hung in the air like a ghost. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "We cannot allow an unknown power to roam freely in our space. Find this ship. Capture it if possible. Destroy it if necessary. I will not have my empire shown as weak." Torvin bowed. "It will be done, my Emperor. But we will need new tactics. The ship's abilities exceed those of our standard fleets." The Emperor glanced at the projection again. Humans. I remember the name from ancient records. They were insignificant then. I cannot imagine how they built such a thing in secret. This will not stand. Throughout the Empire, the story of the mysterious warship began to spread. In ports and marketplaces, pilots whispered about a phantom vessel that could appear anywhere without warning. Some said it was a ghost ship. Others claimed it was a secret Imperial weapon gone rogue. A few dared to speak the word human, but most dismissed it as a legend. For the fleet officers who had seen it with their own eyes, there was no question. It was real, and it was dangerous. The Empire had faced many enemies in the past, but this was something new, something that had the power to shatter their long-held belief that no force in the galaxy could match them. And somewhere out there, beyond the reach of Imperial control, the human warship was still moving, still watching. Fleet Captain Dorn's defeat shook the entire Imperial Navy. No one in living memory had seen 6 Imperial warships destroyed or disabled in such a short time. The human warship's sudden appearance and disappearance made it even more frightening. It could strike anywhere and vanish before reinforcements arrived. The Emperor ordered immediate deployment of a larger fleet to intercept the ship. This time, there would be no underestimation. 50 warships were gathered, heavy cruisers, battleships, missile carriers, and interceptor wings. Their orders were clear. Find the human vessel and force it into battle. For a week, the fleet swept through the border sectors. They laid traps, monitored rift signatures, and used bait convoys in hopes of drawing the warship out. It finally appeared in the outer rings of the Veltra system, near a gas giant. The massive human ship emerged from a shimmering rift. Its dark hull caught the light from the nearby sun, and its glowing lines pulsed faintly, as if alive. Without hesitation, the Imperial fleet moved to surround it. Admiral Corvin, the fleet commander, opened a wide broadcast. "Unknown human vessel, you are surrounded. Power down all systems and prepare to be boarded. If you do not comply, we will open fire." There was silence for a long moment. Then a voice answered in calm, slow words, translated into the Imperial tongue. "This is Captain Mara of the human ship Iron Resolve. We do not recognize your claim to this space. We have no interest in war, but if you attack, we will defend ourselves." Corvin's tone hardened. "You have destroyed Imperial ships and defied the authority of the Emperor. This is war already. Final warning, surrender now." On the bridge of the Iron Resolve, Captain Mara stood with her hands clasped behind her back. Her crew waited quietly. They had trained for this moment. Mara's orders from her command council were clear. Protect human freedom, avoid unnecessary killing, but never allow capture. When the Imperial fleet began to close in, Mara gave a simple order. Lock weapons. Target their flagship first. Ta. Imperials opened fire first. A wave of plasma bolts, heavy railgun shells, and guided missiles streaked toward the Iron Resolve. The human warship's shields flared with a bright ripple as the impacts were absorbed. The ship did not dodge. Instead, it unleashed its own strike. A concentrated barrage of high-energy beams lanced out, striking the Imperial flagship's forward shields. The shields failed within seconds, and the next shots tore through the hull. The flagship's bridge was destroyed in a single strike. Admiral Corvin never had the chance to give another order. Panic spread among the Imperial formation. Several cruisers tried to move in closer, but the Iron Resolve fired bursts of rapid kinetic projectiles, each the size of a small shuttle, at extreme speeds. The impacts shredded armor plating and split ships apart. The Imperials launched, fighter wings, hoping to swarm the warship and find weak points. The human vessel responded with automated defense turrets and fast-tracking pulse cannons. Fighters were destroyed in swarms before they could even get close. The battle was chaos. Mara's crew moved with calm precision. They used the ship's rift drive to jump short distances inside the battlefield, striking from unexpected angles. Imperial gunners found themselves firing at empty space where the human ship had been a heartbeat earlier. Within 15 minutes, 6 more Imperial ships were gone, and dozens more were heavily damaged. The Iron Resolve had suffered only light shield strain. Finally, the remaining Imperial captains ordered retreat. They turned their ships towards safer sectors, their formations. Broken, discipline shattered, Mara did not pursue. She watched the fleeing ships and spoke to her crew. "They will come again, stronger, and they will not forgive this." Her tactical officer nodded. "Then we make sure they never find our base. We disappear until the next move is ours." And the Iron Resolve opened a rift and slipped into the dark, leaving the Veltra system silent except for drifting Imperial wreckage. News of the battle reached the Emperor within hours. The loss of another large fleet was a disaster. In the Grand War Chamber, the Emperor paced before a huge star map. "They mock us," he said. "They strike and vanish. They kill and leave nothing but wrecks behind. This is not just defiance. This is humiliation." High Admiral Torvin stood stiffly. "The humans' technology gives them a great advantage. Their rift travel allows them to choose when and where they fight. Our fleets cannot match their speed. We must develop a countermeasure or find a way to track their rift signatures." The Emperor's eyes were cold. "Do it. Spare no resources. I want that ship destroyed before the people start to believe we can be defeated." In the weeks that followed, the Empire increased patrols across its borders. Intelligence agents were sent to every trading hub and independent station, searching for any sign of human presence. Scientists worked night and day to study the scans gathered from the battles. Every detail of the Iron Resolve was examined. Its weapon energy patterns, shield harmonics, and even the faint radiation trails. Left when it entered or exited a rift, yet the warship was gone. It did not appear in Imperial space again for a long time. Instead, reports came from far-off colonies outside Imperial rule. Stations raided by unknown attackers who were not pirates, convoys rescued from alien threats by a mysterious black warship, and entire planets saved from disaster by unseen intervention. Among the Imperial people, whispers grew. Some called the ship a myth, a story made to frighten children. Others believed it was a warning from the old galaxy powers that had once challenged the Empire centuries ago. A few dared to speak the word human openly, remembering old stories of a proud, stubborn race that refused to bow to any ruler. Inside, The imperial palace, the emperor saw it differently. To him, this was not a phantom. It was a rival, one that had struck him twice and walked away without defeat. He knew that such an enemy, if left alone, could inspire rebellion among the outer systems. And somewhere in deep, uncharted space, the crew of the Iron Resolve prepared for their next move. Captain Mara studied star maps, searching for Imperial supply lines, vulnerable outposts, and weak points in the fleet's patrols. She knew the Empire would send more fleets, larger and more dangerous each time. She also knew the humans could not remain hidden forever. The first battles had been tests. The real war had not yet begun. The great throne room of the Imperial Palace was silent except for the sound of the Emperor's footsteps. He walked slowly across the polished floor, hands behind his back, eyes fixed on the giant star map projected before him. Each glowing dot marked a world under Imperial control. For centuries, those dots had only increased in number. Now, for the first time in generations, the Emperor feared some might begin to disappear. The human warship had defeated 2 Imperial fleets. The losses were not only in ships and crew, but in pride. The Empire's image of strength had been damaged. Rumors were spreading through the fleet and among the citizens. Some whispered that the humans were invincible. Others believed the warship was a weapon of the ancient galaxy powers who had once resisted the Empire long ago. High Admiral Torvin stood at the edge of the room, waiting for the Emperor to speak. When he finally did, his voice was cold and sharp. "I have built this empire on fear and respect. This human vessel threatens both. If we do nothing, our enemies will rise against us. Even our allies will start to doubt us." Torvin bowed his head. "I agree, my Emperor, but the Iron Resolve is unlike anything we have faced. We cannot track its rift travel. We cannot match its shield strength. A direct battle favors them every time." The Emperor turned. "Then we will not fight them in a direct battle. We will study them. We will find their weakness. And when we do, we will strike in a way they cannot predict." He waved his hand, and a group of officers and scientists stepped forward. They were the heads of the Empire's most secret programs. Dr. Vell, the chief scientist, spoke first. "We have been analyzing every scrap of data from the battles. The energy patterns of their weapons suggest they are using a hybrid of plasma and particle acceleration. It is more efficient than our designs. As for their shields, the frequency modulation changes every second, making it nearly impossible to break through without perfect timing." An intelligence officer added, "Our agents have searched all known records of human activity. The last confirmed sighting of humans in the galaxy was over 200 years ago. They were a small, isolated people on a single world far from here. The fact that they have built such advanced ships in secret suggests they have hidden colonies, and perhaps allies we know nothing about." The Emperor listened without expression. "Hidden colonies can be found. Allies can be destroyed. I want a plan that will force them to reveal themselves." Torvin stepped forward. "We could set traps using fake distress calls. If they are trying to protect independent worlds, they might respond." The Emperor shook his head. "They are careful. They will not walk into a trap unless they believe it is real. We need a situation they cannot ignore." He looked toward the star map and pointed to a glowing dot near the edge of the Empire's borders. "ZerathPrime, a rich, fertile colony world. Not under Imperial control, but valuable. We announce plans to annex it, publicly. The humans will see this as a threat. They will come to defend it. And when they do, we will have every fleet in the AB sector waiting for them." Dr. Vell hesitated. And if they refuse to fight? The Emperor's eyes narrowed. They will fight. I have studied humans in the old records. They are stubborn, protective, and proud. They will not abandon those they see as their own. We will use that against them. The order was given. Imperial diplomats were sent to HFY with an ultimatum: join the Empire or face occupation. At the same time, the military began gathering ships from across the sectors. This was to be the largest fleet deployment since the Great Wars of Expansion. While the Empire prepared, the rumors about the humans grew. In the spaceports of the outer systems, pilots claimed to have seen the black warship moving silently through asteroid fields. Traders told stories of convoys saved from alien raiders by a vessel that vanished without payment or thanks. Refugees from small colonies swore that a human ship had helped them escape before Imperial troops arrived. To the common people, the humans were becoming something more than a threat. They were becoming a legend. This worried the Emperor more than any battle. A fleet could be rebuilt. A legend could inspire rebellion. In a dark chamber beneath the palace, the Empire's intelligence chief met with a group of covert agents. "You will go beyond our borders," he told them. "You will find the humans. Do not try to capture them. You would fail. Instead, learn where they come from. Find their colonies. Learn who builds their ships. Every fact you bring back will help us destroy them." The agents left without question. They knew failure meant exile or worse. Far away beyond Imperial space, Captain Mara of the Iron Resolve was already hearing reports of the Empire's move on HFY. Her communications. Officer handed her a data tablet. "Intercepted transmission from a merchant relay station. Imperial fleet movements are increasing. They have issued an ultimatum to HFY." Mara studied the information. "It's a trap. They want us to come." Her first officer frowned. "Do we go anyway?" Mara looked out at the stars. "If we don't, the people of HFY will be crushed under Imperial rule, and the Empire will use that victory to frighten others into silence. No, we will go, but we will not go alone." She sent encrypted signals to 3 other human warships hidden across the galaxy. Each was told to prepare for a rift jump to HFY. Mara knew they could not match the Empire in numbers, but they could strike with speed and precision. Back. In the palace, the Emperor stood before the star map again, watching as fleet markers gathered around HFY. He felt confident. Soon the humans would face the full power of the Empire. Yet deep in his mind, a shadow of doubt remained. Twice the humans had escaped his fleets without serious damage. If they did it again, the Empire's fear would only grow. But the Emperor pushed the thought aside. This time, he told himself, there would be no escape. In the cold void between the stars, the trap was set. The bait was ready. Both sides knew the other would come. What neither side knew was how far the other was willing to go to win. The human warship Iron Resolve moved quietly through the empty black of space. Its dark hull reflected faint starlight, and the pulsing energy lines glowed softly along its surface. Captain Mara stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the star. Maps displayed on the large hollow screen. HFY lay ahead, a blue-green world rich with life and resources. The Empire planned to claim it for themselves, but Mara had other ideas. "Captain," her first officer Lauren said, "we are approaching the edge of Imperial-controlled space. The fleet is waiting beyond the gas giant near HFY. Their numbers are more than we can hope to face directly." Mara nodded. Numbers mean nothing if we use the right tactics. They will expect a direct fight. We will give them something else." Her crew knew exactly what she meant. The humans were not the largest force in the galaxy, but they were fast, clever, and fearless. The Iron Resolve had been built for war and exploration. Its rift engines allowed it to appear and disappear in moments. Its weapons could strike with pinpoint precision. Its shields were stronger than anything in the Empire, but the most important advantage lay in the crew themselves. They were trained to work together, to anticipate danger, and to protect life wherever it was threatened. Mara's mission was clear: protect the colony at all costs, and demonstrate that humanity would not bow to Imperial rule. This was not just about war. It was about showing that humans could rise even when faced with a force far larger and more powerful. She tapped the comm console. "Signal the other ships. Form the rift formation. We move as one." Across the galaxy, 3 other human warships responded. Each had been hidden in different sectors for decades. Their crews were eager and disciplined. They trusted Mara's command without question. The humans had learned long ago to rely on each other, to move quickly, and to strike decisively. As the fleet approached HFY, the Empire's preparations became visible. Scanners detected dozens of Imperial ships forming a blockade around the planet. Heavy cruisers, battleships, and interceptor wings orbited in precise formations. On the surface, the Emperor's occupation forces began landing troops and setting up fortifications. The humans were outnumbered at least 10-1. "Steady," Mara said, her voice calm but firm. "We fight smart, not blind. The Empire will expect us to charge. We will do the opposite. We strike from where they cannot predict and hit their command structure first." The fleet moved into position. Using short rift jumps, the human ships appeared suddenly above the upper atmosphere of HFY. The Imperial fleet tried to react, but they were caught off guard. The humans' arrival was not announced by sensors or warning signals. One moment, the Empire saw nothing. The next, a black silhouette blotted out the stars. The first salvo came from Mara's ship. Energy beams swept through the closest Imperial vessels. Shields flared but could not absorb the precise attacks. Turrets were destroyed, engines disabled, and communication arrays shattered. Within moments, 2 Imperial ships drifted uselessly, burning from internal fires. "Excellent," Lauren said, smiling. "They cannot see us coming until it is too late." Mara did not smile. "Focus on the main threat, their command ship. Take it out, and the rest will falter." The other human warships moved in perfect coordination. One struck the flank of a battleship, disabling its weapons. Another fired a concentrated energy pulse at a cruiser formation, creating confusion and forcing the interceptors to scatter. Every move was calculated. Every attack had a purpose. On the ground, the citizens of HFY watched the strange battle unfold in the skies. Imperial troops hesitated as human ships destroyed the blockade in minutes. Civilians were evacuated, safely under the protection of rapid response human drop teams who had arrived from the Iron Resolve. In the bridge of the Empire's command ship, Admiral Corvin struggled to maintain control. "Target the human flagship," he shouted. "All ships converge! Destroy them now!" But the humans were already gone. They slipped in and out of rifts, attacking where the Empire least expected it. Each strike left damage, but no opportunity for the Imperials to respond. Their pride and confidence were shattered as one by one, ships fell to precise human attacks. Mara watched the holographic displays, noting each Imperial movement. Keep pressure on their command units. Protect HFY surface. Do not engage in a battle of attrition. We cannot match them in numbers. Her tactical officer adjusted the targeting systems. Sir, the Empire is trying to regroup near the gas giant. They are forming a new line. Mara leaned forward. Then we force them to move again. We hit their supply ships first. Cut off their resources. Make them fight without support. Timing is everything. The humans struck with surgical precision. Supply ships, fuel depots, and communications relays were destroyed. The Imperial fleet faltered, its coordination failing as panic spread among its captains. The humans did not pursue needlessly. They knew when to strike and when to hold back. Hours passed, but the humans maintained their relentless control. HFY's colonies were secure, and Imperial troops were confined to temporary positions. Mara allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Empire had underestimated humans, and that mistake had cost them dearly. Yet she knew this was only the beginning. The Emperor would not ignore such a loss. The humans could not remain hidden forever. They had shown their power and protected the innocent, but the next encounter would be even more dangerous. Prepare for their counterattack, Mara said to her crew. They will learn from this, and we must be ready to move again. The Empire will not retreat without a fight, and neither will we. Her crew nodded, confident in their captain and their abilities. They had fought together before, but this mission was different. It was more than a battle. It was a statement. Humanity had returned to the galaxy, and they were not afraid to defend what was theirs. As night fell over HFY, the human ships hovered silently above the planet. They were hidden among the shadows of the gas giant's orbit. Below, the colonies prepared for the days ahead, unaware of the true scale of the war raging in the skies above. Mara stood at the viewport, looking at the stars. She knew that the Empire would strike again, but she also knew something the Emperor did not. Humans were resilient. They were determined. And they were ready. The humans had returned to the galaxy, not as a forgotten species, but as a force that could challenge the mightiest empire. The next battle would decide much, but one thing was certain. The humans would fight for freedom, and they would not be broken. The skies above HFY were filled with tension. The Imperial Empire had amassed its largest fleet near the gas giant, determined to crush the humans and take the planet by force. Hundreds of warships of all sizes orbited in tight formations, weapons at the ready, shields bristling with energy. Below, the colony's citizens looked up in awe and fear, unaware of the full danger their world faced. Captain Mara of the Iron Resolve stood on the bridge, watching the Imperial formation through the holographic display. The human fleet was small, just 4 warships, but they were faster, smarter, and better coordinated. Every move had been practiced, every strategy calculated. "Captain," Lauren said, "the Imperials are tightening their formation. They have placed the bulk of their cruisers in front with battleships covering the flanks. Their interceptors are ready to swarm." Mara's expression was calm. "Then we give them what they expect and more. We hit their flanks first. Use rift jumps to appear behind their formation. We force them to split their fire. Keep the planet safe at all costs." The humans moved into position. Using short, sudden rift jumps, the fleet appeared behind the Empire's right flank. Mara's ship fired the first salvo. Energy beams lanced out with pinpoint accuracy, striking the rear shields of the closest cruisers. Engines failed, turrets exploded, and alarms rang across the Imperial fleet. Confusion spread. The Empire had never faced an enemy that could attack from multiple directions without warning. Imperial commanders shouted orders, but the humans had already vanished into another rift, reappearing above the battleship line. Mara's second officer directed the other human ships. Focus on their command ship. Protect each other and avoid getting isolated. The Empire responded with a counterattack. Hundreds of plasma bolts and missile swarms streaked toward the humans, but the rift jumps made them untouchable. Each time the Imperials aimed, the humans had moved. They struck, then vanished, leaving chaos behind. The first hour of battle saw heavy losses for the Empire. 3 cruisers were destroyed. 2 battleships were crippled. Interceptors fell in swarms as automated human turrets shredded them before they could reach the human ships. On HFY's surface, the colony's defense teams were inspired. Seeing the humans protect them against impossible odds gave them courage. Evacuation efforts were organized, shelters prepared, and minor defenses strengthened. The humans were not only defending the skies, but also the lives below. Captain Mara knew the Empire would adapt. She spoke to her crew. They will not fall apart. They will regroup. We have done damage, but the next phase is critical. We must hit their supply lines and command centers simultaneously, split their attention, weaken their coordination, and protect ZerathPrime. The human ships split into 3 groups. Mara led one group to strike at the command ship directly, using rift jumps to bypass its main defenses. Another group attacked fuel and ammunition depots in orbit, preventing resupply. The last group created diversions, engaging interceptors, to draw them away from the main targets. The Imperials tried to respond, but their fleet was spread too thin. Their battleships and cruisers fired at every threat, but the humans attacked in ways that were impossible to predict. Every shot fired at empty space was wasted. Every attempt to flank a human ship was countered before it could succeed. Mara's ship emerged from a rift directly above the Imperial command vessel. Beams of concentrated energy struck critical points. Weapon arrays melted. Communications towers collapsed, and shields faltered under the precision attack. The flagship's engines failed, leaving it drifting helplessly. "Direct hit confirmed," Lauren reported. "Their command ship is crippled," the Imperial captains on the bridge of the flagship shouted in panic. "Fall back! Regroup! Do not let them destroy the fleet!" But it was too late. Chaos had spread across the formation. Ships collided. In the confusion, interceptor squadrons lost coordination. Supply ships were destroyed. The humans' strategy had worked perfectly. From orbit, Mara watched the results. The Empire was still dangerous, but they were disorganized and vulnerable. She gave the order to protect the colony. Human drop teams and automated drones deployed to prevent any landing forces from reaching the surface. The humans were everywhere, striking, defending, and vanishing again. Hours passed, and the battle reached its climax. Mara knew the Imperials would attempt one final coordinated strike. Using the rift drive, the human fleet appeared above the enemy formation once more. This time, every ship fired at the remaining battleships and cruisers, disabling engines and weapons in a single coordinated sweep. By the end of the day, the Imperial fleet was broken. Many ships had fled, retreating into the outer sectors. Others were destroyed entirely. ZerathPrime remained safe under human protection. The planet's surface citizens cheered as they witnessed the retreat of the mighty Empire's ships. Mara allowed herself a moment of relief. Her crew had performed flawlessly. Their training, courage, and unity had made them stronger than the Empire's numbers. Yet she knew this was only one battle. The Emperor would not forget the loss. and the humans could not remain in hiding forever. Still, today had been a victory, and the humans had proven a point. Even the mightiest empire could be challenged. On HFY, emergency communications were restored. Colony leaders sent messages of thanks to the human ships. Mara's crew coordinated supply drops, medical aid, and evacuation procedures for civilians still in danger zones. Every action reinforced the humans' reputation not only as warriors, but as protectors. As night fell over the planet, Mara stood on the bridge of the Iron Resolve. Stars glittered above, and the faint glow of destroyed Imperial ships drifted in space behind them. She spoke to her crew. "Today we have protected life, defended freedom, and shown the Empire what humans can do. But remember, this is not the end. They will return, they will plan, and we must be ready." Her first officer nodded. "What is our next move, Captain?" Mara's eyes were steady. "We wait. We watch, and when they strike again, we will be ready. We fight not because we want war, but because we have to protect what is right." The human fleet held position in orbit, hidden among shadows, prepared to move at a moment's notice. HFY was safe for now, and the humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge even the greatest power in the galaxy. Above the planet, the stars were silent witnesses to the battle. One day, the Empire would strike again. But for now, humanity had emerged victorious, and the legend of the Iron Resolve would grow across the galaxy. The aftermath of the battle over HFY was felt across the galaxy. News of the human fleet's victory spread faster than the Empire could control. Traders, smugglers, and independent worlds whispered of the black warships that had arrived, destroyed Imperial fleets, and saved a colony without asking for anything in return. Humans were no longer a forgotten race. They were a force to be reckoned with. Inside the Imperial Palace, the Emperor paced before a massive star map. His advisors stood in tense silence. The reports were grim. Hundreds of Imperial ships had been lost. Entire fleets had been destroyed or forced to retreat. The humans had struck with speed, precision, and intelligence. Not a single Imperial plan had succeeded. High Admiral Torvin stepped forward cautiously. "My Emperor, the humans' technology is unlike anything we have seen. Their rift drives allow them to appear anywhere. Their weapons can strike before our shields react. Their defenses are beyond the capacity of our fleets. They are a species we cannot underestimate." The Emperor's face was grim. "I underestimated them. Twice. That will not happen again. We will rebuild our fleets. We will develop new technology. And when the time comes, we will strike back. But this victory of theirs cannot be ignored. The galaxy must see the Empire as strong. I cannot allow this display of human power to inspire rebellion." Even so, the Emperor's confidence was shaken. For the first time, he realized that humans were not like any other species he had conquered. They were adaptable, creative, and fearless. They did not rely on numbers or intimidation alone. They relied on courage, intelligence, and unity. Meanwhile, Captain Mara and the human fleet remained in orbit above HFY. The planet's colonies were secure, and the people were beginning to rebuild their lives after the Imperial occupation had been halted. Mara's crew worked tirelessly, repairing ships, restoring communications, and ensuring that the planet could defend itself if the Empire returned. "Captain," Lauren said, "the Empire will not forget this defeat. They will come back stronger and better prepared." We need to think about the long term. Mara nodded. We do. But for now, we have bought time for humanity. We have shown that even against the greatest empire, humans can stand and protect what is right. That is what matters. Her tactical officer added, Other species are already talking about us. Independent worlds will start to trust humans as allies. Some may even join us if we continue to act wisely. Mara's eyes shone with determination. Then we must be ready. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will fight, but we will also build alliances. Humans are not just soldiers. We are leaders, explorers, and protectors. The galaxy must remember that. Back in Imperial space, the Emperor summoned his top scientists and engineers. We need new weapons, new ships, and new defenses. Every system must be improved. We will find a way to counter these humans. Dr. Vell, the chief scientist, bowed. We have already begun studying the data from HFY. Their technology is advanced, but not impossible to analyze. We can develop countermeasures. We can adapt. The Emperor's expression remained serious. Do so quickly. Every day they operate freely is another day they inspire hope in others. Hope is dangerous. It spreads faster than any fleet. We cannot allow it to grow. Across the galaxy, humans on other planets watched the events unfold. Many had long been forgotten by history, hidden in remote systems. Now they knew that their species had returned, that they could challenge even the mightiest empire, and that they had leaders willing to fight for freedom. The legend of the Iron Resolve and its crew inspired a new generation. Captain Mara stood once again on the bridge, looking out at the stars. The battle was over, but the war was not. She knew that the Empire would not rest. It would rebuild, gather intelligence, and attempt another strike. But she also knew the humans were ready. They had faced an overwhelming force and survived. They had defended life, freedom, and justice against impossible odds. Her crew gathered around her. "What do we do next?" asked one young officer. Mara smiled. "We continue to protect those who need us. We explore, we defend, and we prepare. Humanity has proven itself once, and we will do it again whenever it is needed. But we also remember why we fight. We fight for life, for freedom, and for the future of all humans. That is our strength. That is what makes us different." The fleet prepared to move out, patrolling the space around HFY, watching for any Imperial return. The humans had shown the galaxy that numbers alone did not decide a battle. Intelligence, courage, strategy, and determination mattered more than any fleet or weapon. In the weeks that followed, smaller Imperial patrols ventured near HFY, testing defenses. Each time, the humans responded with precision strikes, careful maneuvers, and non-lethal measures when possible. The Empire was learning that humans were not only powerful, but also clever. They could strike without unnecessary destruction and protect life even while fighting. Elsewhere, independent worlds began sending messages of support and cooperation to HFY. Some offered supplies. Others sent volunteers to help rebuild colonies. Humanity was no longer alone. The actions of Captain Mara and the Iron Resolve had ignited a movement. Other species began to question the Empire's rule and consider the humans as a potential ally. Back in the Imperial Palace, the Emperor remained angry and frustrated, but he could not deny what had happened. Humans had risen from obscurity, challenged the Empire, and emerged victorious. He realized that the galaxy had changed. No longer could the Empire act without caution. A new power had entered the stage, one that could not be ignored. Captain. Mara's fleet, meanwhile, continued its patrols, ensuring that ZerathPrime remained safe. She spoke to her crew during one quiet moment. Remember this day. Remember what we have done. Humanity has returned to the galaxy. We have shown that no force, no matter how great, can take what is rightfully protected by courage and unity. We will continue to stand for life, freedom, and justice wherever it is threatened. Her crew nodded, filled with pride. They had not only defended a planet, but had demonstrated the value of human ingenuity, determination, and spirit. The legend of the Iron Resolve would grow, inspiring generations to come. And as the stars shone above ZerathPrime, the humans knew that the Empire would rise again, but so would they. They were ready for whatever challenge lay ahead. They were humanity, and they would never surrender, never back down, and never stop protecting those who could not protect themselves. The galaxy had witnessed the return of a species long thought weak and insignificant. Now, humans had shown that even the mightiest empire could be challenged, that courage could triumph over fear, and that life, freedom, and determination were powers greater than any fleet or weapon. Captain Mara gazed at the stars, her voice quiet but firm. The humans have returned. The galaxy will remember us, and we will not be defeated. The Iron Resolve and its fleet slipped silently among the stars, ready to protect, ready to fight, and ready to face the future. Humanity had emerged victorious, and nothing would ever make them forget the power of courage, intelligence, and unity. The legend of humanity had begun.